When you think about dating in the Philippines, the age gap question always comes up. Is 10 years too much? 20? Or does it not really matter? Let's unpack this, because there's a lot more beneath the surface than just age. In the Philippines, it's not unusual to see relationships where the man is 10, 15, or even 20 plus years older. Often, it's a foreigner dating a much younger Filipina. To outsiders, this might raise eyebrows, but locally, it's not necessarily shocking. A lot of people see it as practical. The older partner is stable, more experienced, and financially secure, which can be attractive qualities. And hey, let's be honest. If both adults agree to the relationship, that's their choice. A Filipina who's 25 dating someone in their 50s may well understand the age gap and still want to be with him. But here's where it gets tricky. It's one thing to agree to the relationship in the Philippines, but it can feel completely different once she's abroad, isolated, and fully dependent on him. Imagine this. She leaves behind her family, friends, culture, and everything familiar. Now she's in a new country. She doesn't drive yet, doesn't have a job, maybe struggles with the language, and the only person she knows is him. At that point, the relationship can shift from being sweet and romantic to something more imbalanced, even if that wasn't the intention. She might feel obligated to act a certain way. She might feel like she can't say no, even when she's uncomfortable. Over time, this can create serious emotional pressure, especially if she feels like she has no control over her own life. And yes, this can backfire. If she starts feeling trapped or unfulfilled, it can lead to resentment, unhappiness, or in some cases, unfaithfulness. Cheating is never okay, but when someone feels isolated, emotionally neglected, and cut off from their identity, it can lead to choices they wouldn't normally make. A lot of men believe Filipinas prefer staying at home and being financially supported. But from real experience, and from talking to several Filipinas living abroad, that's not always true. Many do want to work. They want independence, purpose, and the ability to contribute. The intention to provide is kind and generous. But without honest conversations about work, lifestyle, and expectations, it can unintentionally create a cage, even a golden one. If you're in this situation, talk about her goals. Ask, would you want to work later on? Is there something you'd like to study or pursue here? How can I help you feel more independent? Support her in getting a job, learning the language, or even making friends. That way, the relationship stays equal, respectful, and fulfilling for both of you. Jealousy exists in every relationship, but in big age gap relationships, it can be way more intense. And honestly, it makes sense. If you're a guy in your 40s, 50s, or 60s dating a woman in her 20s, there's a voice in the back of your mind sometimes. What if one day she realizes she wants someone younger? What if she meets a guy who just gets her more because they're in the same life phase? It doesn't mean you don't trust her. It just means you're human. And it's not one-sided either. She might feel jealous too. She might worry you'll go for someone even younger. Or that once she hits a certain age, you'll start losing interest. Or maybe she feels insecure when you talk to women your own age. Women who can relate to your cultural references, career experiences, or past life. It becomes this silent tug of war, both of you trying to prove that you're enough. I know couples with a big age difference who've had real struggles with this. Some ended up sharing their phone locations 24/7 just to feel more secure. It might sound like they're trying to control each other, but for them, it actually brings peace of mind. Strange, but it's the reality for many couples. The key is being honest about these feelings, not pretending they don't exist. Jealousy doesn't always mean you don't trust someone. It often means you care and feel a little vulnerable. But if both partners are open, mature, and willing to talk it through, those feelings don't have to destroy the relationship. They can actually make it stronger. This is probably one of the biggest fears for foreigners dating someone much younger in the Philippines. What will her family think? What will society think? And honestly, it's a fair concern, but it's not always as bad as you might imagine. In many cases, especially when a Filipina is from the province or a lower income background, her parents may actually be happy that she's with an older foreigner. They might see it as an opportunity for her to have a more stable and possibly better life. Of course, this doesn't mean all families feel this way, but it's definitely not uncommon. Still, when you first enter the picture, there may be skepticism. Filipino families are deeply involved in relationships, sometimes even more than the couple themselves. You might be asked, "How serious are you about her? Are you planning to marry her? Why someone her age?" And if there's a big age gap, it will be noticed and definitely talked about. Example, you're invited to meet her family. You walk into a modest home in the province. Everyone is warm and welcoming, but then her uncle leans over and says, "So, how old are you?" You tell the truth, and suddenly the room goes quiet. There's a long pause, followed by, "Oh, that's interesting." That moment of silence, it's not rejection, it's just people trying to process something unfamiliar. Over time, if your relationship proves serious and respectful, that initial doubt often fades. Many couples say it took a few months, sometimes years, but eventually the family became supportive, even proud. Now, aside from family, let's talk about society. Social stigma is real. Some locals, expats, and online strangers will assume the worst. You might hear things like, "She's only with him for the money. He's too old for her. That won't last." Example, you post a photo with your Filipina girlfriend or wife, and the comments start rolling in. "Is that your daughter? Wow, Grandpa found love. She just wants a green card." It's tiring and it can be hurtful. That's why it's important to ask yourself, are you okay being talked about? Because if you're someone who doesn't like being the center of attention, or you get upset when people gossip, dating a Filipina 20 or 30 years younger might not be for you. But if you can handle the stares, the questions, and the occasional nasty comment, you might find that people eventually back off. What matters is how you two feel about each other, and whether you're building something real. It all comes down to this. In the Philippines, respect is earned over time. Whether it's from her parents, her friends, or society at large. Be genuine, stay patient, and remember, you're not the first couple to face these challenges, and you definitely won't be the last. This one doesn't get talked about as much as family opinions or public judgment, but in many ways, it's even more important when deciding how old is too old for you. Because here's the truth. You can overcome jealousy. You can learn to ignore the stares from strangers. You might even win over skeptical family members. But if your life goals don't match, or if you're in totally different phases of life, things can get hard very quickly. Big age gap couples often find themselves navigating very different paths. One person might be excited to build a career, explore the world, or start a family. The other might already have children, be thinking about retirement, or just want to enjoy a quieter life. Example, you're in your late 20s, full of energy, dreaming of having your first child. He's in his mid-50s, already has grown kids from a past marriage, and tells you gently, "I've done the parenting thing. I don't want to start over." You feel a knot in your stomach. You didn't realize this until now. Suddenly, the future you pictured together feels uncertain. And the worst part? It could have been avoided with a simple conversation. That's why communication isn't just helpful. It's non-negotiable in relationships with a big age difference. Before things get serious, or definitely before moving in together, you need to sit down and have some honest conversations. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Do you want kids or more kids? What does your ideal lifestyle look like? How do you feel about money, careers, or even where we'll live? Because even if everything else feels perfect, you laugh together, have great chemistry, and genuinely care, Mismatched life goals can quietly pull you apart. So never assume. Don't just hope things will work themselves out. Talk early, talk openly, and talk often. That's what gives age gap relationships the best chance of truly lasting. The truth is, there's no simple number that fits every relationship. Some couples with a 20-plus year age gap thrive because they communicate well, respect each other, and share common goals. Others with smaller gaps struggle because those important conversations never happen. If you're considering marrying a much younger Filipina, don't get too caught up in the age difference itself. Instead, focus on clear and honest communication, aligning your life goals and expectations, building mutual respect and patience. Some challenges that come with a big age gap can be uncomfortable: family opinions, jealousy, or different life stages. But with understanding and effort, many couples overcome them. However, if your goals don't match or you can't talk openly, the age gap becomes a much bigger issue than just a number. Love doesn't have to be about age. It's about connection, honesty, and shared dreams. When those are strong, the relationship has a real chance to grow and last. Thank you for watching till the end. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe for more content like this. If you're curious about what I don't like about the Philippines, check out this video next. Until next time, bye.